Morning, hope you're right. In today's video I'm going to talk about how to ripen the tomatoes quickly. Most of us do have a problem with tomatoes not ripening quick enough, as we have a very short growing season in UK, and this year especially it hasn't been really warm enough for the tomatoes to ripen quickly. Tomatoes need lots of sunshine, at least 8 to 10 hours of sunshine for them to perform really well. So there are some tips which you can follow to get your tomatoes ripen on the vine before the growing season ends. But if you do have some green tomatoes left, you can still get them ripen indoors, so I will talk about that later. So first I'm going to talk about how you can get the tomatoes ripen on the vine. So there are a few tips which you can do. So the number one tip is you need to keep pruning the suckers and extra leaves. So as you know, the tomatoes plants do have lots of suckers which grow between a leaf stalk and a main branch. So there is a main branch and there is a leaf stalk, and the suckers grow between those, between at that intersection. Here you can see there's a little sucker growing, so that's very little and you don't want to grow it too big. So there's another one here that's at the intersection of a leaf stalk and a main branch, so you need to keep pruning those. So they keep coming, and when you see this size they can easily come off, so you need to take them off. If you let them grow, the plants will get bushier and bushier, and there can be lots of problems like fungal diseases due to poor air circulation, which can destroy your tomato plants and tomato crops. So it's a good idea to keep removing the suckers when you are growing indeterminate tomato plants, which means they keep growing taller and taller, and they keep producing these suckers, and you need to take these suckers off. There's another one here. As you can see, this was a leaf stalk and this is the main branch, and there is a sucker here which I want to remove, so I keep removing these leaf suckers. There are some determinate tomato plant varieties which are not very tall. They are like determinate means a determined height and determined growth time. So they have a limited growth time. Most of them ripen in June, July, and produce a whole lot of tomatoes at the same time. And you don't want to remove the suckers on those plants because they don't get very tall and they get more bushier. So you will have great production of tomatoes if the plants are bushier. But for this kind of tomatoes which are indeterminate, they keep growing tall and tall. As long as the conditions are favorable, you want to remove the suckers. You don't want tomato plants get too bushier. So that's the number one tip. The number two is you do want to remove the excess leaves as well. So excess leaves mean when you see a fruit set. So on this plant, for example, there was a leaf here and here and here and here and here, and there is a fruit set. So when you need to keep these leaves until the fruit sets here, and when the fruit sets here you want to remove these leaves. You don't want to keep these leaves on because it will hide these tomatoes, and these tomatoes will not get enough sunshine and won't ripen. So then you move on, and there's another leaf stalk here, and then there's another fruit set, so you need to remove that. So as the tomato plants grows tall and tall, it will produce leaves and it will produce fruit set, and when there is a fruit set you want to remove the leaves to uncover this fruit set so it gets most sunshine and ripens quickly, and also helps with air circulation. So as you can see, I have removed all these leaves from here. So 1 2 3 4 5, there is a fruit set 6 7 8 9, and there's another one 10. So there is another fruit set, so 11 12, and there's another fruit set. So that's how many leaves you want to keep removing, and I just has left a few leaves on the top. So there's 1 2 and 3 and 4 leaves I have left on the top, which are enough for this tomato to get the photosynthesis done for the plant and to generate energy for the plant. So the more leaves you leave, the chances are the tomatoes won't ripen as quickly. So that's another tip. The third is, because we have got a short growing season, we can't leave the tomato plants to grow taller and taller, because if there is a flower set, it won't turn into tomatoes anyway. So what I do in August, or sometimes I just remove the tip. So I don't want to grow it anymore. So it's already like, you can see it's already like 4 or 5 feet tall, and if I had let it go, it could have reached like 7-8 feet tall. But the flowers that will be on the top of the plant won't have enough time to turn into tomatoes, and the plants will be sending its energy to those flowers and those stalks, which will not be of any use. So what I do, when the plants get like 4 or 5 feet tall and has set like 3-4 sets of tomatoes, I generally remove the tips and let the plant focus on the fruit that is already on the plant. So it just sends this energy to the tomatoes that are already there and let it ripen. So I have used these tips this year, and I have got plenty of success for my tomatoes to ripen on the vine. I have harvested a lot of tomatoes already, and some of them do keep falling off the vine due to the wind which we're having, and so then you can try to ripen them indoors. And we are still in October, so I still got 3-4 weeks. I will see if they can still stay on the vine. But if I start feeling like there's not much time left now, so what I want to do then I want to remove my tomatoes. For example, this one. So I want to harvest these green tomatoes because they are really pretty and fine. I don't want to go them to the waste. So I harvest these green tomatoes and try to ripen indoors. So today, just for the demonstration, I'm like harvesting few tomatoes. I'm still letting them go on the vine as long as they go. As you can see, there is already one fallen over here, and sometimes they do encounter some rot due to excess humidity and moisture and rainfall, and they just fall off the ground. They are no good, so you can just discard them. But sometimes the good tomatoes do fall off as well due to wind. There is another tip which some people recommend, which is cutting on water gradually. So they say, like, as the growing season approaches to the end, you can cut on watering, and that helps the plant to ripen the tomatoes as well. I haven't tried that, and it's not practically possible for us because we do have lots of rain here. So I will recommend pruning the suckers, pruning the extra leaves, and pruning the tips when you see there is not enough time left for the tomatoes to grow anymore. So these tips really help the plants to focus on ripening the tomatoes rather than sending its energy to suckers or leaves or just growing taller and taller. So hopefully this helps and gives you some ideas how you can get your tomatoes ripen on the vine quickly. So after you harvest your green tomatoes, you need to make sure they are clean and dry. You don't want them to be wet, and make sure there is no diseased tomatoes in here. So then you need a cardboard box. Any cardboard box will do, which you have got at your home, and I have lined it with a brown paper bag. So you can use a brown paper bag, or you can use layers of brown paper. So as you can see, I have already got some tomatoes in here which I put here last week. They fell off the vine due to the wind, and as you can see, most of them has already ripened. So these were like green when I harvested them. I put them in here, and I just put an apple as well. So you can use an apple or a banana, which helps the tomatoes to ripen quickly. You don't have to put it, they will ripen as well, but just to make the process quicker. So what happens basically, this apple or banana produce ethylene gas, and the tomatoes need that ethylene gas for them to ripen, basically to go red. And as you can see, many tomatoes have already gone red, so I will take the red ones out and leave the green ones in. And I do want to check there are no diseased ones in there, because if there is some diseased ones, they will make the others go bad as well. So these are looking all right. As you can see, lots of them have already turned red, and that's what I am looking for. That's one, you see, this was looking all right from this side, but this side, as you see, this is rotten and it's been chewed. It wasn't like this when I put it there. So that's what you need to make sure. So you need to keep checking on them like every day or every other day, to see there are no diseased tomatoes in there. So all of them goes out, and this one is also gone bad. It's not, so I'm taking that out as well. So this one, so you need to keep checking on them. You need, otherwise they can go all bad. So all of them almost have ripened. There are few on the bottom which are not done yet, so I will leave those in there. And this one is has got the juices from the other tomatoes. I'll wash straight and make sure I wash these tomatoes again, and dry them before putting them back in, and I can replace the paper. So here I have washed my tomatoes and dried them with the paper towel, and they are all ready to go in this bag now. So I'm changing my bag. So any envelope, any brown paper bag will do. So you want to put these in there, and or you can make a lines or align the paper in there. So putting these in there, and then an apple. Even the small ones like this do ripen as well. So, and then an apple in there, and cover it properly so it all stays in there. Cover it and then close it, and you want to put it in somewhere dark. And what I do, just close it with some tape so it stays closed. You can put fresh tape on it. So then you can put it somewhere like warm and dark. You don't want to put them in the light, because the light can get them rot, and warm environment will help them to ripen. You want to make sure it's dry, warm and dark, and they will ripe very quickly. You need to keep an eye on them, check on them every other day to see if they're ready. You can take them out and put more in there. So that's the way you can get the tomatoes ripen indoors. Hopefully you found this video useful. Please give it a thumbs up, and we will see you in next one. Thank you very much for watching.